Hey, Tony Talks here. Back to encourage, inspire, and motivate you. You know how we get started? We're starting with some deep breathing, as we always do. Of course, 4 counts in, 4 counts out, 3 times. 4 counts in, 4 counts out, 3 times. Let's go. And the second one, that's two. And the final deep breath. And for me, I'm going to add a little stretchy stretch. It just feels good. All right, stretch it on out before we get started. Okay, it's Friday or Friday. We're doing Financial Freedom Friday. Financial Freedom Friday. And we're doing the basics. So we're going to start with some of the basics to financial freedom. So we're going to jump right in. So these are, as I said, some of the basics that we are going to be talking about. I probably will be using my notes. Um, the first thing you want to look at when it comes to financial freedom, what is your why? You always want to have a why. What's your why to becoming financially free? Think about that one. If you don't know what your why is, take time, write it down. You know, we are writing because writing makes it real, right? So take time to discover your why to wanting to become financially free. Or what is, what's the importance of you becoming financially free? What do you want to accomplish? By time I become financially free, oh, and the other thing is define what financial freedom means to you. So, what does financially free mean to you? All right, so that's the first thing. Define it. And then answer your why. What is your why to becoming financially free? Number two is changing your mindset. So key. Changing your mindset on finances and how you think about finances. So, one thing you can do is to read as much as you can on finances. And nowadays, you got so much knowledge in front of you. You can go to social media, you can go on the website, you can pull up different books to read. Actually, it'll read to you. Good morning, husband. It will read to you. So many different financially freeing books out here. I'm going to give you a couple. The Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich. I have read all of those. Great books, right? Great starter books. The Millionaire Next Door, because the average millionaire, you wouldn't even know that they're millionaires. All right. So the millionaire, you could have a millionaire living next to you and not know, because most millionaires aren't wearing their stuff or driving their stuff. Millionaires drive Toyota Camrys. They drive reasonable vehicles. What they know how to do is save and invest their coins, okay, their coinage. So, The Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and grow rich. That's why I said the mindset, because as you think in here, as you think in your heart, so are you, right? So changing your mindset. Along with that, I would say podcast, right? So those are easy ways that if you are, let's say, at work or in your car, turn off music, right? Music is not an important thing once you set your mind on getting financially free. So I have 3 podcasts that will be great listens, great podcasts for you to listen to. One, I started with Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey will teach you the art of the envelope system, budgeting, living beneath your means, living a cash free life. Okay, I don't know. I'm adjusting this for my YouTube because my lighting is off. Okay, so living on a cash basis, right? If you don't have it cash, you don't buy it. That's what Dave Ramsey teaches. All right. And then Anthony O'Neill, who used to be on the Dave Ramsey show, but he has his own show, Table Talks or The Table with Anthony O'Neill, I believe. And awesome, awesome. He's a brother and he is teaching wealth. Okay. And hey, I just tune in, listen. He has so many guests on there who came from nothing and now they are wealthy. So someone to listen to. And then last night I discovered this guy, School of Wealth, on, you can find it wherever you get your podcast from, and he is Randy Lambeth. Last night he was talking about taxes. Very knowledgeable, very, very knowledgeable. So you want to, sometimes you may have to invest in yourself and learn on your own. Maybe take some classes or courses, but some of this stuff is out here and it is free. And what he was talking about last night on taxes, that's another thing, right? To look into. So for me, I am self-employed, so I do have some tax that I have to pay. And he was discussing how to get your tax down, right? Like how the wealthy pay less taxes. So I'm definitely going to be tuning into him. Rondi Lambeth, Rondi, Lambeth, Lambeth, to get more of that knowledge. All right. Along with the taxes, if you are one who do have to pay taxes, or we all need to know the tax code, as he said. We cannot depend on our CPA or our bookkeeper or whoever takes care of our taxes to just do the taxes, right? We should know the tax code for ourselves. And I'm guilty of that. I've just paid somebody to do my taxes and then don't even have a clue really of what they're doing, right? So this year, I'm going to change that. So it's about learning more, just knowing for yourself the tax code. All right, so I have 2 books on the tax code. One is How to Pay Zero Taxes. If you pay taxes, isn't paying zero taxes something that you want to learn about? I do. How to Pay Zero Taxes. And businesses pay less taxes than someone who is a W 2 or employed. All right, so that one, How to Pay Zero Taxes by Jeff Schnepper. How to Pay Zero Taxes by Jeff Schnepper. And the other one is Tax Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. Tom Wheelwright, Tax Free Wealth. Okay, so that is point number 2, mindset. Point number 3, know the areas of excessive spending for yourself. So for me, it's shopping. And so what I had to do is number 4, which is unsubscribe to some of these shopping places because they will send you stuff all day long, emails. If you're on social media, you will get ads. If you um, are have frequented, like there have been different boutiques and things that I um, have bought from on social media. They come up and down your timeline. Last night, what I did, got rid of. Delete, take me out this group. I do not need to be in this group any longer, okay? Because what that does is they're so smart and strategic and know even about the times that you shop at these places. They're going to send you, oh, here, I'll tell you one who is good for that, Express. So as soon as I will pay off the bill, they will send you a $15 certificate to use along with having a sale, right? Marketing, they're good at marketing. So unsubscribe to that stuff, right? When these emails come in, unsubscribe. I had so many boutiques that I was subscribed to that last night I just started to unsubscribe because I don't need that when you're focusing on changing your mindset about your money. All right. Um, and here's a funny one. I would say marry somebody or get with somebody who has more knowledge than you financially or who may be better with savings, right? So I am the budgeter in my household, but my husband is a better saver than I am. So it works. It works well. We balance each other. And it really is me getting more disciplined and making sure that we stick to the budget. And that's the next point. So get a budget, right? If you don't know how to do a budget, I actually have a written budget and then I have an app which is called Every Dollar. It's free. An app that's called Every Dollar. It is free. What you're going to do is you're going to put in every dollar, especially if you know what your every dollar is. Um, Both me and my husband are self-employed, so we don't know what every dollar is at the beginning. But as we go along, I'm filling out that budget. So every dollar is budgeted. All right. So once you assign your dollar to something, you're more apt to stick to it than if you have if you get deposit, right? If you get the deposit into your account and then you have no budget without it being assigned to something, you're gonna what? Eat out. You're gonna, oh, I have some extras here. And that is not the case. You have no extras. Every dollar should be assigned to something. All right. So budgeting, savings, I do a course on that. It's a 5-week course. If you'd like to know more about that, you can go to speaker at tonytalks.com. Speaker at tonytalks.com. And I can tell you more about that 5-week course. It's a beginner's course, but that course will take you where you need to go. You will learn all about budgeting. You will deal with this mindset here, and it will help you to save better and just stick to a budget. All right. And then when I was talking about knowing those areas of excessive spending, a lot of people spend excessively on eating out, and especially during the pandemic, and that has carried over because a lot of people just didn't cook. They ordered out, Uber Eats, all these delivery places to bring to them. And so that is one of the areas where most people spend the most money. So really getting a grip on how much eating out you are doing. Most people are going grocery shopping and not using what they have in their refrigerators and freezers. We're guilty, right? We don't eat out a lot. Well, I don't eat out a lot. Certain days we eat out. Fridays and Saturdays we eat out. But if you can make food, you will save a lot of money because you already got to go grocery shopping, and groceries are already high, right? They are. We're not going to talk about eggs. We couldn't find eggs for a while, brown eggs especially. But you got to eat, right? So if you got to eat, set your budget for making a little bit more so you can perhaps take your lunch to work. Okay. All right. So that was the budgeting and savings, and then envelope system. Good morning, Miss Bradshaw and Miss Harper. So then the envelope system. That is another thing that I use. So part of my budgeting is once I have my funds, for that week or whatever, sometimes a month because I get paid monthly. Um, you have to divvy up and put your funds to where they need to go, right, in the proper envelopes. So, envelope system. Once you see what all needs to be budgeted out, you'll have an envelope for each one of those areas. Okay. Good morning, cousin. So, for example, groceries. I have an envelope for groceries. I have an envelope for emergency savings. I have an envelope for savings. What else? Whatever bills we have, there is an envelope. Okay. And I believe it's a 50-30-20-10 rule, 50-30-20-10 rule. And that is 50% takes care of, so you really want to live at like 50% of what you bring in, right? So 50% of your money is going to go to your bills. If you have rent or mortgage, all of that should be included in the 50%. So if you make 10,000, then 5,000 is going to be allotted for you, your mortgage, and all of your bills in that, on down to your groceries and all of that. 30% is, okay, I should have reviewed this. I know it's 50-30-20-10. 10 is giving, whatever it is you are giving to. It doesn't have to be the church. It could be an organization. It could be to people who you could just allot, something to give to those who are in need. That's the 10. The 20%, I believe the 20% was savings and investments. And the 30%, I can't think of it. I will come back and share that 30% with you. Yeah, I can't think of that off the top of my head. But anyway, living beneath your means, right? So envelope system, once you have your envelope, once you have put your funds in your envelope, and if I think the 30% was, never mind. I'm not gonna guess. All right. And so with the envelopes, putting the funds in the envelope, and once it's gone, right? So let's say entertainment, you have $200 there. You got to budget that out for the month, right? So if I go to a steakhouse and it was $176, I got what? $24 left in my entertainment envelope for the month. All right. So it teaches you discipline. I love the envelope system because it really just it helps you to understand discipline. And it does the work for you almost. It pretty much does the work. Once you take it out of the envelope, look in there and see, oh, I only have $100 left for my hair and nails. Guess what? Here comes the next thing that you may need to do. So Dave Ramsey talks about having a bigger shovel, right? Having a bigger shovel to get out of debt. The other thing is stop adding to your debt, right? So if you're paying off a bill each month, like I was doing with Express, not every month, but I would buy something here, there, and then I pay it off, and then I would charge again. No, don't do that, right? Don't, once you pay off that credit card or pay off whatever it is, a loan, don't take out another loan, and don't use debt to pay for debt, right? So if you have other credit cards, oh, this one is sending me something that says 0% interest, but you don't read the fine print. The fine print says there's a 3% charge, might be 5% now, for you to transfer this balance over to this other company. By that time, depending on how much the bill was, you've spent $150, $200, maybe $250 to just transfer that, when you could have just, hey, let me wipe this bill out as quickly as possible, right? So listening to Dave Ramsey, you start with the smallest bill. So you want to make sure you know what your bills are. If you have a credit card that may be $1,000 and that's your smallest, that's where you're starting, right? Because you can see small gains. It helps you to understand that I can get out of debt. You may have a debt that's $100,000. You may have maybe a mortgage or a student loan or something like that that may be at $100,000. But if you start small and you're able to pay that $1,000 off and build up, you're going to take whatever payment you was paying on that $1,000 bill and add it to the next bill, make the minimum payment with that other amount that you had. So it's the snowball, right? That's what Dave Ramsey talks about. So getting out of debt, not adding debt as you are trying to build wealth. It doesn't work like that, right? You want to get out of debt and then build wealth. So it may be that you got to cut up some of those credit cards if you are not disciplined. Yeah, like I got quite a few credit cards. I don't use them. I am very, with my husband, I tell him we pretty much use one card and we attempt to pay it off that next month if we have to use it, so that, we're not getting charged any finance fees, because what is it, like 18, 22% that they're charging on interest for a credit card. So we try not to carry a balance. We may use it. I have one where you get points and you get extra funding. That is another way to trick you up too. If you are not disciplined with paying that off, then what difference does it make that they gave you $50 but you just charge $5,000, right? So you have to see your strengths and your weaknesses, and that's what I do in the budgeting course. We go over your strengths, your weaknesses, those areas that you need the most help in. Again, if you want to take the budgeting course, it is a 5-week course. You can email me at speaker@tonytalks.com, and I will give you more information on that. All right, so that's what we did today, is the basics. These are the basics. First, starting with, mentally, because what you think mentally about money is going to show in your world, right? If you think you can't, you can't. If you think you can, you can. So you can change how you budget, how you take care of your finances. And we all want to be good stewards over what we have. Good morning, Miss Williams. Like in the Bible, it talked about God gave one talent, he gave one 2, and he gave one 5. We don't know why he gave them those amounts. Maybe he knew what they could handle, right? But ask yourself, what can you handle, right? With what God has given you, what can you handle? Can he trust you to give you more? And if not, it's time to start working on that. It's time to start doing something so you can be a better steward. All right. because in the end, we all want to hear him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And that's in every area of our lives, right? So finances is one. Um, for me, I just don't want to have any debt held over my head. The slave is servant to its master, right? So I know you don't want to think of yourself as a slave, but if you owe somebody, if you are paying each month to somebody, you are their slave. Guess what? They're making tons of money interest off of you. They're using what you owe, right, so that they can build wealth. I no longer want to do that. I don't want to give anybody, I sign my name over to them, right? Don't want to do that anymore. I want to have somebody, I want to be the lender and not the borrower. And I am the lender and not the borrower, right? So, words of affirmation, speaking it into existence, and so shall it be, right? Um, and that's what I got for you on the basics. We just did the basics of financial freedom, but getting your mindset together, let me go over what we talked about. So, first, defining what financial freedom looks like for you. What is your why? Get your mindset wrapped around your why, right? Staying focused on your why. Knowing the areas of extensive or excessive spending, unsubscribing from emails. Spend as much time as you can on learning about finances. Okay, let's see. Do you think that is always financial, being the lender and not the borrower? Do I think that being the lender and not the borrower? No, no. I mean, that can go in areas of knowledge, right? I don't want to be the borrower. And as I talked about, let's say taxes earlier, right? I am borrowing somebody else's knowledge at this point because I don't know about taxes. I don't know how to, as this book says, not pay or pay zero taxes. So I want to be the lender. I want to get this information and then be able to give to somebody else, or maybe make a course where somebody is then paying me, right? So that goes in other areas. Just like I'm on here, I am technically lending you all information, right? Y'all are gathering information from what I am giving you. I want to be, in other words, it's like a leader and a follower. I want to be the leader in those areas that are important in my life. I don't want to just be walking around here and going off of somebody else's wealth or their knowledge. Okay, will do. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to know what I need to know, not just dependent on someone else. As I said, my CPA to be able to do my taxes, but I want to know, even though I'm going to hire somebody to do it, I want to make sure they're doing it right. That's being a good steward, right? Knowing what I know, what I need to know regarding taxes, not just taking their word on it. Okay. So I mentioned the books. If you came on late, I mentioned the books. I mentioned some podcasts that you can listen to, and things that you can do, turning off the radio perhaps, because, or you could have music playing in the background, but while you're reading, but podcasts maybe while you're in the car, just doing things to get that knowledge in where you can. All right, all right, all right. So that is it on Financial Freedom Friday, the basics. Financial Freedom Friday, the basics. I hope I gave you some pointers to point you in the right direction to help you to get financially free, or freer at this point. But at some point, for me, it is debt free. Debt free I wish I could say by 2023, debt free by 2025. And when I think about that, being debt free, what would you be able to do if you're debt free? For me, it's like a burden, just a big burden lifted off of us, right? We could travel, we could give more. There is so many things. We could buy more properties. Um, yeah, we could just be able to sow into areas that we haven't been able to sow into. So that is something that is going to happen. Got to be more disciplined, got to put more aside. You've always been good steward over your finances, girl. But this shopping though, um, I have to reel myself in constantly. Thank you for that compliment. Constantly reel myself in, and as I said, disconnect from some of these places that tend to draw me in. Right? You don't need that. I have more, way more than enough. So for me, it's looking at why do I want to shop, not just um, it's not just that I want to shop, right? There's something behind it. What does shopping do for me, right? And sometimes it's boredom. Sometimes it is just, filling in the gaps. Sometimes I just like to look good, right? But you got tons of stuff in the closet with still tags on it. Not being a good steward. That's not being a good steward. So I am definitely working on being a better steward. I am good with budgeting. I'm good with my envelope system, but I always can do much better. And then investing. So that's the thing where, that's where we are now, like investing even heavier because being self employed, you got to put aside because Social Security is not your thing, right? You got to make sure that you have enough set aside so when you decide to retire, you can really retire and don't have to go work at Walmart. So that is where I am now at 51. It's investing heavily so that I can kind of make up for what I didn't invest in when I should have. Yeah, so that investing piece, that's my 30%, probably 30% is investing. Okay, I'll call you when I get off here. All right, so that is financial freedom, the basics. Okay, so we're going to close out in prayer. And then you all can have a happy Friday. If you got to go to work, make it a good day, right? Think about what you're going to spend because most people get paid on Fridays, right? So think about this. This was a great place for you to tune in to start your budget. It's not too late. Every dollar. If today is a day where I haven't budgeted, right? But I want to start, get on every dollar before you spend anything out your check. Get on every dollar. It's an easy app for you to use. Put your funds in and name everything that you're going to spend, everywhere you're going to spend that coinage. Okay. All right. So let me take a sip. Lord, we just honor you, God. We thank you for this time, Lord, that we have in your presence, God. We thank you for your word on today, God, with finances, God. And I know that you want us all to be financially free, God. It is not your will for us to be in debt, God. Help us to be better stewards over what you give us, God. Stewards over everything, God, not just financially, but just everything, our knowledge, just everywhere that you have given us leadership, God. Help us to be better stewards. And so we just continue to lift you up, God. We continue to pour back into you as you pour into us. We continue to worship you, God, because we know that you are great and mighty. There is none higher than you, God. We know that you love us and you care for us, God. Continue to bless us as we continue to grow, God. Increase us, enlarge our territories as you did Jabez, Lord, and help us to be that one who you gave 5 talents to, who had an increase, who doubled his talent, God. Just continue to let us use wisdom, God. Let us seek out knowledge, Lord, in the right places, Lord. And so we just praise you right now. We honor you in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. All righty. So go in peace. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. And I will be back on Motivational Monday. All right. Bye.